Guess how many donuts I ate today?
3.
Yeah. And 1 big peanut butter cup. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games
and
board gamey things.
Exactly. We are here today to do a list video, and today's list video is going to be all about underrated games, or at least in our opinion, games that we feel like are underrated. And you're probably like, what is your qualifying factor? Just what we feel, what we thought. So last time we did a video like this, we went by like BGG ratings or something like that. But this time it's just, we don't hear people talking about these games a lot. I watch all the board game YouTube content and we talk to lots of people, and these are games we just don't hear of a lot.
My hoodie's damp.
Damp? Well, Jeff had to rewash this hoodie today because he washed it, took it out of the wash, had a drumstick, took a bite out of that drumstick.
I need to tell this story.
Had a big glob of chocolate drop on it. Immediately, oh no, show them. That's where the chocolate fell. This is why we can't have nice things. Either me or Jeff, we get grease stains, ketchup stains, chocolate stains on everything we own. I found out...
At least it wasn't here.
Thank God. So we are just going to talk about 10 games that we feel like are underrated.
Someone's finger.
But before we get into it, just as a reminder, Foster the Meeple Kickstarter is still live. It's still happening. And if you're interested in supporting...
It's still sunny!
It's still sunny. And if you're interested in supporting, the links are going to be in the description below. We got lots of fun benefits. We're raising money for the channel because we want to make it so that I don't have to plug and unplug this monitor in 50 times before it turns on.
Yep, that'd be nice. Number 10. Are we doing 10?
Are we doing
numbers?
We're not doing numbers, but we are doing 10, and 10 technically is a number.
All right, first up on the list is a little game called Bottom of the Ninth. Do you like baseball? Do you like sports? Do you like board games? There's not a lot of really good sports-themed board games. The Bottom of the Ninth is one of them.
Yeah.
In Bottom of the Ninth, you are playing, well, I guess it's a 2-player game. Is it a
You can
solo?
play it solo, 1 to 2 players.
It is a 1 to 2 player game where one person is playing as the home team,
light side,
the pitching team, and one player is playing as the away team,
dark side,
the batting team.
Mm-hmm. One's pitching,
but now I think I got the home and away screwed up. It doesn't matter. One player is playing as a pitching team, one player is playing as the batting team, and you are trying to score a run as a batting team, and you are trying to get out 3 batters as the pitching team.
That's
and
true.
You're doing that through basically blind bidding.
Yeah.
So each player has a token corresponding to their position. So the pitcher has a high, low,
and a fast, slow. 2 tokens.
Fast, slow token. And it's basically determining their pitch type. So on 3, they're going to reveal those 2 pitch types, and the batter's going to reveal their pitch type, or their hitting type, I guess, effectively, what they think the pitch is going to be, because they're trying to guess the pitch. And then depending on that outcome, certain things will happen.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a little reference card that's going to tell you what you're doing.
It's like a matrix.
So if you get a hit, it then becomes uniquely a real-time game.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So then what you have to do is both players have to pick up the dice, and you're rolling. The first person to get a 6, if I remember correctly, is either safe or out.
Yeah, so like as the person that's hitting, you're thematically running. You're trying to run the bases, and the pitcher's
you're rolling dice trying to run to first.
get you out.
Yeah.
They're trying to like be the baseman and stuff.
And there's like certain ways that can be manipulated. Like if you're because there's a bunch of different batter types and a pitcher type. So if you're a fast runner, you actually have to roll 5s and 6s instead of just 6s. It's a really, really thematic way to represent the high stakes of the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah.
Because again, you need to score runs in order to tie the game. It's so fun. It's so chaotic and silly.
Yeah.
And it really does give you the feel of playing baseball, like guessing the pitches and running along the bases and all of these other things. It encapsulates the feeling of baseball better than some of the other, like, not that this is a bad game, but Baseball Highlights, for example. I find Bottom of the Ninth really captures that kind of essence of what it would be like to hit and pitch.
Yeah, and we never hear anybody talking about it. I happened to stumble upon this at the last Gen Con, so not this one, but the previous one. I know a few people have played it and who enjoy it, like Michelle from Second Star to the Left, but nobody talks about it, and it's so fun, even if you don't care about baseball, like me. I don't care about baseball, but when you get into that real-time aspect, it is just like, you're like, because you're trying to run, and the other person's trying to get you out. And then you're building your team, and there's different, like, types of batters, and you have to, like, choose your lineup and do all of these things.
Yeah, and the pitcher's really cool. Like picking the starting pitcher and then like one reliever, and they all have different like traits and abilities and like backstories, and
it's very cool.
It's a very small box game. Like it's very portable, and you could take it anywhere and play it. It's so fun.
The next game on our list is going to be a DeVere game, and that is Castle Party. Now, Castle Party is a small box flip and write game. That is themed, very Halloween themed. So essentially, you are having a party at the castle, and it's all the monsters
Might be
are
why
coming.
It's called Castle Party.
Could be. All the monsters are coming to the party, and the monsters want to be kind of like
Ramses.
Ramses does not dance at the parties. So all the monsters are coming to the party, and you are essentially, the active player is going to be flipping a card that's showing some kind of a shape. Then they are going to be choosing what kind of monster they want to draw, basically. So they're going to put one out, the next person's going to put out whatever kind of monster they want, and you're essentially building out the shape that you've pulled. Then everybody has to draw that shape onto their map. And you're just trying to score as many points as possible. There are going to be different like special things that trigger in this game. There are going to be like there's the Pumpkin King, and he wants to be surrounded by all different kinds of monsters. And
I would be the Pumpkin King.
Yeah.
I would want to be surrounded by all the people.
All the people, not me. I would be sitting in the moat. Perfectly fine by myself.
You'd be swimming in the
floating
water.
around in the lazy river. Anyways, that's basically the game. You're flipping cards, you're drawing out the symbols, trying to score the most points. There's, like I said, special events that happen. So like there's fireworks and the Pumpkin King and all of these things. And you're playing over a series of rounds until the deck is basically depleted, and then you're scoring. It's so good, and I feel like it kind of flew under the radar.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, it's also partly
because it's a Halloween game?
I think, yeah, it's stuck in that, similar to any of the, not that you only need to play Halloween, spooky games at Halloween, but like it's the same as like Christmas themed games, right?
Oh, it's so true,
They get pigeonholed into being played during those times, which is valid.
Yeah.
I also think like DeVere has a bunch of like small box party-ish games that are really good, but maybe get eclipsed by some of their like more robust games, which are all incredible.
Yeah.
But like they have a really good line of like small box card games that are also very good. But I just don't think get talked about as much as their bigger stuff.
Yeah, so if you haven't played Castle Party, it's obviously a great time during like Halloween season, but also like we would play this anytime. This is probably one of your favorite like and right style games.
Yeah, because you're just doing your own little thing, you know?
Yeah, you're not blocking anybody. Like there is ways that you can kind of manipulate what everybody
the cards
has
a bit,
to do.
Yeah.
But that's that.
Next up on the list is one that I think there's a reprint coming for.
I think that
perhaps.
there is, yeah.
We've talked about it on the channel a few times, and I think this one is a product of just there not being a lot of copies around, and that's the Grand Carnival. The Grand Carnival is a polyomino like tile placement game, but it's also somewhat route building because you're basically trying to get carnival attendees to go through your big tent and to touch a bunch of different like attractions that you're hosting.
World.
So you're not only just building out your carnival with the polyomino pieces, but you're also like at the right time walking these people through paths in order to, I guess, effectively get money and then score the most victory points. Yeah, this one I feel like it's just kind of like not around.
Yeah, I think what happened
was like a Kickstarter only thing.
That's what I think it was. And then, like, we played it. We went to go visit Billy and Michelle from Second Star to Left, and then we played it, and we're like, why does nobody talk about this game? It's so fun.
Polyomino.
Jeff has a hard time with that
tile
word.
placement games are not, like, high on my list of games that I, like, love, with the exception of a few, like Wild Tiled West, for example. But Grand Carnival is way up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I like it more than Barron Park. I like it more than
Tenpenny Parks, which is
Tenpenny
also
Parks.
A carnival theme.
I'm just trying to think of, like, popular games in that kind of similar genre.
New York Zoo.
I
just think it does something a little different.
I still don't know. I think I like New York Zoo more. New York Zoo is a great game. New York Zoo is phenomenal. But anyway, I'm excited for it maybe to get a reprint. I think it is. I'm
like positive that it is.
I'm excited for more people to try it out because it is very good, and the artwork on it is very, very well done. It is very enjoyable, and we actually now do have a copy, so I'm excited to show more people it. But yeah, Grand Carnival is a great one. If it is coming back, definitely one worth checking out.
All right, the next one on the list is a super massive heavy game about sharks, and it's called Get Bit. And just kidding, it's a game for children, but it is a game for children that is fun for literally everyone. Yeah. This game recently got a reprint from Greater Than Games.
Definitely got a reprint.
And it got a reprint too. Not every game gets that, but some of them they do.
Only the special ones get reprints.
So essentially in this game, you are playing a scuba diver. And there is going to be a line of scuba divers, and then there's a shark following them. You have a hand of cards, and everybody has the same hand of cards, and at the same time, you're going to be playing out cards. Then you're going to flip them. Now, you're going to be moving the scuba divers, and I can't remember, it's either the highest number moves first or the lowest number moves first, but in one way or the other, the scuba divers are going to be moving to the front of the line, and whichever one is left at the back is going...
moves last.
The highest moves last. So whichever one is left at the back is going to get bit by the shark, and their limbs rip off. Okay? And what's really interesting is if people play the same card, then you don't move at all. And so you risk getting bit. But you have an arm to lose, you have 2 arms to lose, 2 legs to lose, and a head until you're just a floating torso.
But even your torso needs to get eaten too, I believe. I think the head is attached to the torso. You don't rip the head off. You have the head and the torso.
I thought maybe
I think your limbs get ripped off, and then it's a head and a torso. And if that gets eaten, then you're dead.
Yeah, you're basically just trying to be the last one to survive. Okay?
That's just think about it logically. You rip the head off, and then it's just a torso.
Yeah, there's floating torso. Okay, it plays really quickly. You could play it with quite literally anyone. It's silly. It takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes to play. Yep. And we have only played this with adults. And guess what? All adults have enjoyed it and have loved it. It's just like, it was a game that we put out on the table and we were like, what is this? And then we played it and we're instantly in love with it. Yeah, and nobody talks about it because nobody plays it because people think they're too good for kids' games. Well, guess who's not? Us and you.
That one is really fun.
It's so weird.
The shark is so
it's cute.
Chunky and cute.
Yeah, very, very cute.
All right, next up is a game that I just happened to randomly find on a shelf at a game store in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And it's from one of my favorite publishers, GMT, and it's called Leaping Lemmings. I had no idea that GMT had this game in existence, but Leaping Lemmings is basically you are lemmings, and you're trying to get from point A to B. That's it. On the map are 2 eagles, and those eagles are patrolling their specific regions of the board, like, and they're trying to eat lemmings. So you are able to effectively move along this board. You can hide in bushes, you cannot hide in bushes, you can
stack.
You can stack your lemmings on top of each other. So, like, if you're on top, obviously you're at risk of being eaten by the eagle. What's really interesting, depending on player count, is other people control those eagles on their turns. So you can kind of pick and choose which lemmings you want to eat, depending on how you roll the die. And then what happens is once you get to the end of the board on the B side, whatever movement points you have left, the lemmings leap off the edge, and that's what you score. So if you had 5 movement points and it took 2 to get to the edge, well, the other 3 are victory points.
They're jumping off a cliff.
And it's just a race to points. You're basically, you're racing from A to B and then trying to jump off the cliff. It's so silly and so fun and so simple. I've not really played anything like it. The theme is nonsense. I mean, Lemmings is a IP, if I remember correctly. Like, there is a Lemmings video game. I could be making that up, but I don't think I am. But it's so silly. And I didn't know that GMT had this. And it's such a weird little game that's in their arsenal, and it was so fun. And I don't know how readily available this game is. I assume
it's not.
Because I just happened to find it, but man, I'm so glad I grabbed it because it is an absolute blast. It's one of those games that I feel like most people have not played, and I get excited like bringing it to conventions and being like, hey, you want to play this ridiculous game called Leaping Lemmings?
Yeah, we've quite literally never ever heard anyone talk about it before.
Yeah.
It's so, like, there's a bit of card play and stuff that you can like manipulate things and mess with other people, but my favorite part is that you get to pick your clan of lemmings, which has it doesn't matter. But like one's like a biker gang, one's like nerds, one's like athletes or whatever.
And they all have names.
And they're like, this is Trish.
Yeah.
And Bob.
And like Trish is going to get eaten.
It's so funny. It's such a good game. Okay, next up on the list is one that is not underrated over here because I talk about it all the time, but I still have only heard maybe 1 or 2 other people talk about it, and it's only because, well, I've heard them talk about it because I know they played it with me, and that is hooky. Why are more people not talking about this game?
I've never seen this available anywhere. Other than that one time you saw it at the Boardroom Game Cafe and bought it. I've not seen it anywhere for sale.
If you find hooky, you buy hooky.
If you like deduction.
Is a deduction game, and essentially you're just trying to figure out which kids from class are playing hooky from school that day. Everybody's going to have a hand of kids. They're all letters. There's 26 letters in the alphabet, in case you didn't know. And 3 of those letters are playing hooky. You are trying to deduce that by asking other people 5-letter words, and then they have to tell you how many times those letters show up in the hand of cards that they have. You're trying to figure out which kids are playing hooky. You're trying to figure out which kids everybody else has in their hand, and it is chaos because the leaps in logic in this game are unlike any I have ever played before, because you're like, oh, well, they said this, so it must be this, and then you write down a letter, and it's as if it's set in stone in your mind, and guess what? It shouldn't be. It never is. It never is. Anyways, this game is amazing. I love it so much. I will play it any chance I get, and I do wish that more people would talk about it and more people would play it because it's so fun.
I very much do enjoy hooky. It breaks my brain. Hooky's a game that I find no matter if I'm doing good or bad, I never actually know.
You never know. You'll never know.
Our last game of hooky was the only game of hooky I've ever won.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I didn't get any of these. But I only got, like, 1 wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bonkers.
You could be so confident.
Yeah. I've been very confident before and gotten nothing right.
Yeah.
Because, again, I would leap in logic and you get to this point where you're like, I know what you have. And it's like...
You don't.
But then someone will be like... You'll be so certain that someone has X letters, like whatever, and then someone will give them a word and they'll be like, 1, I only have 1 of those letters, and you're like, no, that's impossible. You don't, and then it's like going back and being like, okay, where did I make this leap in logic?
Yeah.
And it's just,
banana sandwich.
It's so good. Next up, we have a game from Devious Weasel Games, and you might be like, Cosmic Frog? And I'd be like, no, still a great game. This is Mirroring of Mary King. And I haven't heard anyone talk about this, and I would not know this game existed if it wasn't from our friend Max at Table Knots playing it with me. I played it with Max, and then I immediately went out and luckily found a copy of it. Mirroring of Mary King is a 2-player only game where you are effectively trying to there's some history around this, like actual history that you can read about in the game. But effectively what you're trying to do is pull Mary King to your side. Mm-hmm. You're either trying to take over her, like, I'm trying to think of the word.
Ghost.
Yeah, it's like her, like, spirit or
Soul?
something. Yeah, something like that. You're either trying to pull Mary King to the side of life or Mary King to the side of, like ghost
side,
or whatever. Side. I'm butchering it, but you get the point. And you're doing that through kind of like unique card play as well as this grid of tiles that represent Mary. And as you do things in this game, you're going to be flipping those tiles to your corresponding side. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the time, you're not only flipping your tiles that you need flipped, you're also flipping other tiles that might benefit the person you're playing against. Mm-hmm. And each player kind of has their own asymmetrical cards that they can play and do certain things. And like each deck represents like a very specific thing for her. Like it's her tether to reality is basically what you're doing as you're playing out cards. Devious Weasel has a very incredibly good way of incorporating their theme into their mechanisms.
Yeah.
So like your card deck is going to be called a specific thing. And Mirroring and Mary King's a really, really unique way to do the tug of war mechanism like that you find in Jekyll versus Hyde and that sort of thing, where it's not quite as obvious that you're playing a tug of war game, but you are playing a tug of war game.
Oh, definitely.
It's incredible. This is a game that I would love to play way more. It's definitely got like a more of a spooky theme though, so it definitely falls into that kind of category. But it's definitely one I want to show more people because it's a blast and it's not overly complicated to set up and play.
No, it's 2-player only, and it is just like a highly strategic game. There's like no real luck in this. Like it's very much planning out what you're going to do, trying to anticipate what the other person is going to do, and it doesn't take a long time to play either. No. It's really cool. No. All right, the next one on the list is another one that I feel like we're the only people that talk about this game, and I recently showed it to my work team, and they all freaking loved it. And that is Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. And I wonder if a lot of this is seasonal. And it shouldn't be. Just because something has a ghost on it doesn't mean you can't play it in the summer. Ghosts come out all year round.
They do.
Trust me, we live in a very haunted
house. It is a bit weird that there's, do you know what I mean? Like all the ghost movies and stuff are always like Halloween.
Oh, it's Halloween. Themed. It's like, no, it's Ghosts July and the ghost has been knocking around in the attic all day.
Yeah. It's hot up there.
It is hot up there. She don't like it. She don't like it up there. Okay, anyways, Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. You have one person who's essentially playing like a GM or the mayor of the town, and they can see the entire map, and everybody else just has a blank page in front of them and a white erase marker. Wet erase marker. White erase marker, dry erase marker, wet erase marker, whatever. So basically what
would be a wet erase marker?
What?
A sponge?
No, wet erase marker is a thing. That's what they called that. I don't know, Jeff. I didn't make up words. Okay, so
who knows how words are formed?
Who knows? So in this game, the people who are not the mayor are trying to find a piece of pizza. Once they find that piece of pizza, they then need to find the house to deliver it to. But like I said, you just have a blank screen in front of you, a blank map. So you are asking the mayor, Mayor, I would like to move north. And then the mayor will say, yes, you can, or no, you can't. And the reason why you might not be able to is because you've run into a wall or a fence or a ghost or something like that. And you are trying to map out all of your movements until you find your pizza. Then you need to deliver the pizza. The fun thing and the funny thing is that there's portals. And so you could move into a portal and get sucked up in it and spit out into a totally other part of the map, and it's so funny when that happens. And then you're fighting ghosts and you're doing these things, and it's basically a race to deliver your pizza.
What's also really funny is like there's, depending on how many players you're playing as, there's like one pizza in one house for each one of those people.
Yes.
So you could find their pizza, and then the DM has to be like, well, it's not your pizza.
Not your
Or
pizza.
like you have a piece of pizza, you have your piece of pizza and you go to a house, you find a house and it's like, well, sorry, it's not your house. But it's someone else's because you're all on the same grid.
Yes.
So then there's like this logic of like, oh, well, I found this house. This person found this house. Is it maybe my house then? But you don't really know where they are.
You don't know where they are.
Have you ever played this game not as the mayor?
No.
We did to get you.
I've only ever played as the mayor, and I've played it with 3 and 4 other players.
Maybe when Ben and Sarah come, I can.
That would be great. So like,
you can experience it.
And it's really funny in a 4-player game. There's 2 pieces of cheese pizza and 2 pieces of pepperoni pizza. So, anyways, it's really fun. I would highly recommend it.
It is
from
very
all
good.
play.
Yeah.
I just want to see more people playing this game because I just think like the artwork on it I think is very kidsy and stuff, and so that may be why people shy away from it. I think
similarly hooky. I think there's a few games on this list that
it's maybe the way they
look. The artwork doesn't do it justice. Totally. And I don't think that's fair. Like
no,
the
I think
artwork is cool. Not bad.
No.
It's just hooky looks like it's for kids.
Yes, hooky looks like it's for kids. It is not.
This one, I can never remember the name. Psychic Pizza Delivery Pizza. It looks like it's for kids.
Yep.
Which it could be, but you know what I mean? Like it's not selling itself to what I think it needs to sell itself to.
If you have a chance to try it, please do. Jeff and I are going to be going to BGG Con in November. If you're going and you want to play with me, you let me know.
Yep.
I'll GM.
Last one up for me is a game we've mentioned numerous times on the channel. So it shouldn't come as any surprise that we think this one is underrated. And it is also from the Op.
Yep.
I don't know why I said also.
It just is.
This game is from the Op, and it is Cuphead. Cuphead is a real-time game, and that should be the first marker. We're not big into real-time games, so the fact that we're suggesting one should tell you how good it is. Cuphead is based off of the Cuphead video game franchise. It is effectively a real-time scenario-based boss battler where you are just rolling dice and trying to perform actions or perform hits or dodges or parries just as you would in the game, and effectively you're going through a scenario trying to beat boss after boss to get to the end of the game. It comes with a thematic app, which is just a timer of
with music.
10, 15, 20 seconds, I think, depending on the difficulty level.
Yeah.
It's just a timer with thematic music. You don't need to use it, but
no, I think
it
can track your campaign and stuff like that as well.
You should, because it has the traditional Cuphead music. I don't know necessarily what it is about this game. It's just really fun. Yeah. I think Cuphead has really awesome artwork. It has really awesome sound, the video game, and it plays well into this real-time element. It is incredibly difficult, just like the video game is, and it's just fun to sit there together on a really quick timer and roll dice and try to get, a combination of outcomes.
See how far you can get. We've only ever played this at 2 players. Even like when you showed it to Jason, you and him played it at 2 players and stuff. I'd like to see how this plays with more players because it is cooperative. So you're like you can help heal each other and do all of these different things. And it is, it's silly fun. And nobody talks about it. Like
it kind of came and went.
And I'm like, what's everybody doing sitting on this game? Because this is one of the best real-time games that we've ever played.
And like each character has somewhat asymmetry too. Just like there's like I think 4 characters, and they all play somewhat slightly different.
Yeah, they all have like one special ability or something.
Yeah, depending on like die faces you roll and stuff, or what their parry action is. It's really fun. Especially if you like the Cuphead IP.
That could be what some people have hesitated because, I don't know Cuphead, so I won't play it. You don't need to know. I've never played the video game. You don't need to know.
No.
You'll have fun. Okay, the last one on our list is another one that I feel like kind of came and went when it came out, and I do think that they are redoing some of it.
I think it's
like
been
reprinting.
Gaining. More people have been playing it
momentum.
and getting some steam.
So I just want to give it a little bit more momentum, and that is Deadly Dowagers. Now, Deadly Dowagers You should play it for the theme alone.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're playing as a woman who is just out there murdering husband after husband after husband, and you're trying to go up in the ranks, and you are getting benefits from killing off your husbands, but you got to be sneaky about it.
Getting them dowries.
Getting them dowries and stuff. And then you are also trying to, like, get the land and, like, do all of these different things. But, like, that is the main draw. Like, it's funny.
You're just trying to, like, build out your
empire
by killing your husbands off.
Yeah, but like there's it's almost like, I don't really want to say a push your luck element, but like there's certain, like, if you kill too many or too soon, then you're not going to be able to marry this type of person who has more prestige and wealth and all of that stuff. So like you have to be strategic in how you're killing off your husbands.
You have to be super strategic and time it perfectly to maximize that, you know, kind of profit.
Yes.
But there's also like other ways you can kind of progress. Like you don't have to go and marry the most rich guy. That's like, there's alternative ways that you can win. Like
you can hang on to your husband for a little while before you kill him. It's just silly. Like this is the same. We love weird themes.
It is very weird theme, but very, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
And like I've seen, I can't remember which convention we were at last year.
PAX Unplugged.
It was PAX.
A bunch of our Discord people were playing it.
And anytime I see that game out on the table, like everyone's having a blast playing it because the theme is so nonsense and like, and it's a good game from a mechanism standpoint. So it's got a lot going for it.
If you haven't tried it, we definitely recommend it. I wish that more people would play it. And it's a nice small box game too, which is great. It's just like some cards basically and tokens and stuff like that, but it's like yay big. Anyways, those are 10 games that we think are underrated. Hidden gems, some might say, that we would love to see more people talking about. We'd love to know also in the comments below, what are some games that you think aren't getting enough love out there? Because let me tell you, because there are so many games.
It's hard to stand out.
It's hard to stand out, and I feel like some games will come out that deserve so much more hype and love than they get because they can be overshone by big budgets. Overshone?
Is that a word?
Overshined. Outshined. They could be overshone, outshone, overshoned, and outshined by big budgets.
What is the word?
What? Outshined.
Outshone? That's
overshone. Where's Sean? He's over there.
Who's Sean? Where is he?
Bring Sean over. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that some of these little games and whatever will come out, and even like some publishers will release something and then they'll immediately release something else that kind of overshones over. I don't know what the word is, that it takes over. Like that, I find that does happen.
There's a lot of games. A lot of games come out now. That is just a fact of the hobby.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a Kickstarter. If you'd like to support us, that'd be great. Because I'm looking at my lights right now and they're like
I love that all of them are ripped.
Yeah. You know what? It gives them a little bit of character. It is what it is. Anyways, links for that in the description below. But that is everything that we have for you today. If you're interested in buying board games like any of the amazing board games we talked about today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is
Boardroom Game Cafe.
And if you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later days.
I did find out a wash trick, so we'll have to get some Dawn grease fighter.
Sad.
We'll get that out. No problem, Jeff. Not even one problem. We'll be able to get it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
It says 10.
I understand, but the other list said 10, remember? And then there were only 8. That would be nice. You can't leave
all these trinkets from
There's trinkets, there's toys on the table. So, you know, Jeff's playing with toys. If he looks distracted, that's because there's toys literally everywhere. Because we're just adults playing with toys.
You can't show that.
Why?
Because it's embargoed.
No, not anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Cool.